A rough week down under. Okay, so Phillip Island. That was a rough one. Our I rating went down quite a bit, 1099 to 861. Our safety rating went down 3.55 A to A 2.59. We've had weeks where like we'd see these dips, but we'd bump back up at one point, but due to like life stuff, I didn't get 2 days that I normally would this week driving in, so we did 3 of our regular 5 days, so maybe that has something to do with it. We'll say that, not that it is extremely challenging and was hard to learn from each. Our times though, we did pretty well. Started out just practicing. We were hitting like 133, 132, I think, towards the end of practicing. By the end of the first race, we had done a 131 flat, which I was pretty stoked about. And then by the end of the week, I think we did, in our last race with a damaged car, 129, 934. I was pretty stoked, very stoked by that. It was, still slow. The fast guys were doing like 126s or less, I think. But hey, it's like I said, it's a challenging track, I think, in my humble opinion. In our standings, the way they unfolded for the week, better than I thought they were. In the Fanatec GT3 Challenge, we placed 135th in Division 7, our division. Last week, we placed 210th, so like way better. I think there was less participation this week, which may have something to do with it. Our average start was 9th, with an average finish of 12th. Overall, that puts us in 21st place, which last week we were 23rd, so we moved back up a little bit, not quite to 18th where we were after, I think, Lime Rock, but still moving in the right direction with an average start of 8th and average finish of 9th. In the VRS GT3 Sprint Series, we placed 94th this week, again way up from last week where we placed 173rd. Same reasons, I think, less participation, etc. With an average start of 16th and average finish of 15th. And then overall, we're 24th place in that series, again, Division 7. Last week we were in 27th place, and I think we've just slowly been, I don't think we've been higher than this at all. Our average start is 13th and finishes 13th as well. So, woo! Like I said, I think participation this week was kind of low. We did have one race where we were in top split. It was the only split, but we were in it. That was interesting. Haven't been lapped without an accident for a while, so there was that. Just to kind of get into Phillip Island, I always want to say Phillip Isle for some reason. I'm sure that's wrong, but it's a very momentum-y course, I think, which means you need to take all the corners at speed, but they're kind of tricky corners, I'd say, especially turn 2, which caught a lot. You could count on several people going off there on the first lap, and then in subsequent laps as well. I would end up getting ahead of people who were faster than me, but they just goof up on corners, and I goofed up on corners too. I'm not like saying I'm some sort of like slow but methodical person, although that's usually how I end up doing well when I do well. And then towards the end of the course too, there's a few corners that catch you out. It's like you have to hit your braking pretty spot on a lot of corners, and it's not hard braking, which as we've stated before, is something that I struggle with a little bit, hitting those light braking zones with any kind of consistency. And this course kind of requires that. and there aren't a ton of landmarks on the course to use as braking points. You kind of just have to get a feel for them, which is antithetical to how I've been learning to do tracks. So maybe that's a good thing here. We're kind of trying to learn to drive by the seat of our pants. But you know, hey, we powered through it. We survived as much as we could, which again, like I said, I'm pretty happy about. Overall, most of the mishaps that happened couldn't be attributed to yours truly. The problem exists between the wheel and the pedals. So that is what it is. I would slight lapses of concentration, just like every other week recently, have been my downfall. Again, just like you go a little too hot into a corner and you're donezo. I was able to, towards the end of the week there, notice when I was doing that and slightly correct, but you'd end up taking a really wonky line and losing a ton of time, which is easy to do on this course. If you're not carrying all that speed, you'll lose a second or two just to not having carried enough speed to keep your exit speeds high as they should be. We did have on our last race, there was a massive accident right at the beginning, but we were towards the back of the pack, and I heard, like, I had the radio going because I normally don't, but for whatever reason I did have it going, and I heard all this stuff. So like, let's slow down, and was able to navigate the accident on that first lap there. And then I'm like way up higher in the grid than in the places than I should be, right, for as fast as I am compared to everybody else. And then like I'm going through, I'm like, all right, if I can just hold on and keep from crashing, we'll do really well here. But this other car spun right in front of me, and I could try and adjust my line a little tighter to go in, but I don't think I had the grip. I didn't think I had the grip to do it, so I went out onto the grass just to avoid hitting the guy and wrecking both our cars. In the process, I couldn't slow down enough to stop from like sliding on the green ice that is the grass and gravel in iRacing, and couldn't get slowed down enough before I hit the wall, and that was slowing me down about a second a lap, I feel. And so I decided, when I took a couple laps to figure that out, and then once I did, we hit the pit stop and took 30 seconds to repair the damage, which sped us back up, and we got that 129,934. So that was an accomplishment. We wouldn't have had that had I not done that, but 30 seconds for 20 laps of 1 second faster is not a good trade, as I suppose they'd say in the stock market. But you know, it is what it is, and we finished. With that being said, I am glad to have Phillip Island in the rearview mirror. Wallabies and all, they're behind us. We're heading to Okayama next week, or this week. I have timing and releasing content is weird, but yeah, I know Okayama a lot better. Of the courses that are still coming up for the rest of the season, it's probably the one that I know the best, because we've also got Circuit of the Americas, Spa, and I think that's it. I've never driven Circuit of the Americas, and Spa, I know where it goes, but I don't think I'm capable of being particularly quick at it. Not in the GT3 cars anyway. I think if we were to take Spa again in the TCRs, I'd have a better chance of getting the times down a little bit more. But Okayama, I think I've done enough different cars that we stand a decent chance. I'm cautiously optimistic because, you know, every time I say I'm optimistic in one of these. Anyway, as always, you know, hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on how you feel this video was, and we like it when you hit that subscribe button. As always, we do live shows. Head on over to twitch.tv/thepiltdownman if you want to check those out. And until next time, see you out on the track. Have a good one.